Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this first tutorial I'm posting. Sorry again for my absence. It's just an opportunity I couldn't miss going overseas. Yeah, once again, sorry. And my first tute that I'm recording, oh my god, I'm so nervous, I haven't done something like this, is my tute on respiration and various things that are associated with respiration, which you'll need to know for your test. Okay, so firstly, you'll be required to, state the similarity or relationship between the photosynthesis and cellular respiration equation. So the cellular respiration equation, I'll just put cellular here. So the cellular respiration equation, as we know, is C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus O2, so it's being oxidized or broken down, goes to H2O plus CO2 plus the release of energy. Now, if you remember back to your organic chemistry unit last term, you'll realize that this is a classic example of a complete combustion, a complete oxidation, because H2O and CO2 are the byproducts. And of course we have this release of energy, which is what we're interested when it comes to cellular respiration, because it's this release of energy that allows us to do all the biological processes we do. Sitting here now, I'm probably doing this whole thing, this whole equation will be going on like several times within my body. And we have to take note of the fact that this is just an overall net equation for respiration. There are several intermediate stages in respiration, which I will go on to show you a bit more of a bit later in this tutorial. Okay, so that's our cellular respiration equation. Now, this is photosynthesis equation. The photosynthesis, just get my spelling right. So what's happening here is that we have we have exactly the opposite process occurring. So light energy from the sun, is being added to CO2 plus H2O to yield glucose plus oxygen. Alrighty, so in this situation, what's happening is that plants themselves are being able to produce their own energy in the form of glucose. And they do this by harnessing the sun's energy, so from the sun, and they capture ambient or atmospheric CO2 and water, obviously. That's why we have to water our plants. So you can kind of see that cellular respiration and photosynthesis are, apart from being exactly the opposite, in that, the reactants of respiration are the products in photosynthesis and vice versa. Apart from that, you can see that one is required to facilitate the other. We need plants or autotrophs. Autotrophs being organisms that can produce their own energy. So autotrophs, organisms which produce their own energy, e.g. plants. So we need these photosynthetic autotrophs. We need them to facilitate cellular respiration, because do you see that if we didn't have glucose or O2, we couldn't manufacture the energy that we require. And similarly, if we didn't give out waste in the form of CO2 and H2O, the plants themselves are somewhat devoid of their source of energy as well. So it's a very excellent sort of cycle. It's a very excellent sort of self-sufficient system. Now just bear with me while we clear the board, because we're not focusing on photosynthesis. The main focus on this unit is human biochemistry. Just bear with me for a sec. Alrighty, now we have our cellular respiration equation. Now I'm going to draw your attention to this energy part. Whilst we do get energy released overall from this equation, what this energy is being put into is the manufacture of ATP. So what happens when ATP is manufactured is that we get a molecule called ADP plus P. So reversible reaction gives us ATP plus H2O. Now this isn't a proper chemical equation. I mean, I'd have to draw out the proper structures of ADP, P, ATP. But this is just an overall kind of basically represented equation. So the energy that we got from cellular respiration is going in to fuel this combination of ADP plus P goes to ATP plus water. So we can deduce that the energy we got from respiration is going in to make a bond between ADP and P. So ADP looks something like this. The di stands for 2, so there are 2 phosphates in ADP. But when we add P, we'll obviously have a 3rd phosphate group. So we get ATP, or A, which stands for adenosine, plus 3 phosphates, and of course our H2O. Yep, good. So the energy that went in from this cellular respiration has gone in fact, to this bond here. So the energy has gone in to help manufacture ATP by bonding this P to this ADP molecule, and then we get ATP with the energy from respiration stored in the bonds here. Now, obviously, the energy that is harnessed from respiration in the overall equation, I mean, it doesn't only go into the manufacture of one ATP. That would be a completely inefficient process. So there are a variety of steps within this respiration equation that constitute the whole overall net equation that yield different amounts of ATP. And just bear with me while I clear the board, but I will show you the steps that are required for full cellular respiration. Okay, sorry for that delay. So there are 3 basic steps to aerobic cellular respiration. The first step is known as glycolysis. And that occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. So if we have our cell, we have a nucleus somewhere in the middle, various organelles. Here's a mitochondria. This process actually happens in the free-floating fluid stuff. So if I just draw an arrow, it just happens in the cytoplasm, not in any particular organelle. It's a unique step, I suppose, in that it's anaerobic. So this part of aerobic cellular respiration doesn't actually require energy. So it does not energy, sorry. It doesn't require oxygen. That's what I meant. So glycolysis doesn't require oxygen. So you can imagine that in situations where the body is deprived of oxygen, it can still undergo glycolysis. We can still manufacture some energy, but obviously it'll be a whole heap less efficient. So anaerobic doesn't require, and therefore so it's anaerobic and therefore doesn't require